will come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win.
Now the 2-1. Line drive to the base hit. Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series for the Yankees. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Rack and roll. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them with my faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings long drive left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lotus fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins. Here's the pitch to Willie. Here's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we haven't heard.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter. Long drive to left field. Way back. It's 65. Home run.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a jam. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
I see with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Hey! Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right then is your host, Dan Scott.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Tuesday edition of the program here in the beautiful, beautiful radio studios overlooking an even more beautiful Paris Mountain across the football field here at Furman. I'm Dan Scott. That is Forrest Stulting, and we are back after a day of rest yesterday. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing well, Dan. It's been an exciting weekend of sports all across the board, so a lot to get caught up on.
Let me tell you how these things usually work for me, okay?
All right, let's hear it.
I made the executive decision, as you know. I texted you on Sunday night and said, look, football team has a week off. I'm just going to take the day off. Let's take a day off.
Not a bad
Try
idea.
to relax, maybe catch up on some things at the house. And then Sunday night, right before I go to bed, I go over to the dining room table, and I look down, and there are the keys to the rental car.
Oh, man.
So I had to get up and
So
drive
much for a day off,
over here yesterday morning anyway to leave the keys with Tracy in the front office, and then but I also was able to get some errands done while I was out. So it was a productive day. Got a haircut, as
Looks nice.
One of us had to, so I figured I'd go ahead and do it. And then got a chance to get some things done that needed to be done. So wasn't all bad, but you know how you got that at least I do. I don't know if it's hit you yet, but you get to a certain age anyway, and boy, I got a chance to sleep in. You know, I have to get up when the wife goes to work and, help walk the dogs and all that stuff, and then I can either go back to bed or I can hit the recliner, and then there are those rental car keys. So well.
Like a brick to the face.
Anyway, it was just not meant to be.
Yeah.
So, but we're back today, so we'll have kind of a hybrid today of the Monday-Tuesday show. Get you wrapped up from the Furman football weekend, which was another huge win in a quagmire up in Western Carolina, up in Cullowhee. Paladins finally jump into one of the two major polls in the top 25. But we're going to look a little deeper than just those polls and kind of show you where the computer models say the Paladins are about right now. And a lot more. The big polls, matter of fact, the committee poll for FBS, I think, comes out tonight, the first one. And then there's a small little baseball game
Just a little bit.
out in Los Angeles
Did you hear
today.
about that the other day? The 10-inning game they had? Something like 13-12. I'm not sure.
Something like that.
Some wild, wacky game or something.
Went to a baseball game and a slow pitch softball game broke out.
Exactly. Yeah, you got that right. Pitching was lack thereof, Dan.
Well, but there was plenty of hitting.
You got that right.
And we've had really a World Series so far that if you're a baseball fan, you've gotten to see a little bit of everything you love about the game because we've had the games of good pitching.
Yep.
We've had some great defense. We've had some games, obviously, where there's been an offensive explosions. So it's
plenty of comebacks.
Yeah, comebacks and momentum changes.
Yep.
Teams refusing to just after taking a punch to the gut, refusing to die and coming back, which is what Game 5 was all about for both teams. So if you're a baseball fan, this has been a great World Series.
Yeah, about as good as it gets, I'd say.
So we'll see what happens in Game 6 tonight. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. What do we need to get caught up with on campus for our Furman fans here?
All right. The cross-country teams, they both five-peated. They've won the SoCon Championship for the 5th year in a row. On the men's side, they had a perfect score of 25, so the top 5 runners all finished with Furman across their chest. And they had 9 of the top 11 runners finish in the top 11. And so those top 5 runners all were named the SoCon first team. On the women's, and Erin Templeton won the individual event on the men's side. Allie Buchowski, she won the women's race, and they placed 3 runners in the top 5. So they won that one with 43 points, well above Sanford, or 23 points, well above Sanford with 43 points. Excuse me. The men's side, the All-SoCon team has Aaron Templeton, Josh Brickle, Tanner Hinkle, Frank Lard, Troy Reeder, and Mason Copy. On the women's first team All-SoCon, Allie Buchowski, Savannah Carnahan, Gabriel Jennings, and Grace Dwyer were placed on that. The men's freshman of the year goes to Daniel Bernal of Furman. The men's runner of the year, Aaron Templeton. And as we all assumed, the women's runner of the year, Allie Buchowski, won that for the women. And Robert Gary won Coach of the Year for both the men and the women for the Paladin squad. So congrats to them on another great year for them.
Yeah,
so
just continue to be as dominant as a program can be.
You got that right. The women's soccer team, they beat ETSU 2-1 on 2 unbelievable free kicks by Rachel Shaw and Jordan Evans on Sunday. They will play Western Carolina Friday in the semifinals. Women's golf team, they tied for 6th at the Landfall Invitational. Natalie Srinivasan tied for 3rd with a score of 6 under. Volleyball, they beat Chat 3-1 on Friday, but lost ETSU on Saturday. That was the first loss in conference, so they're 10-1 in conference play. Men's soccer team, they beat UNC Greensboro 2-1 in overtime. Josiah Baker scored a game-winning goal. I believe it was 3 minutes into the first overtime period. So congrats to them on finishing the year strong. They've won 4 out of their last 5 and only tied that other game. So they've been really going on the right foot these past.
So in soccer terminology, they're unbeaten in their last 5.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
Not a soccer guy.
And of course, on the football side, Antonio Wilcox was named the Southern Conference Player of the Week, the Offensive Player of the Week, and the Performer of the Week by the College Football Performance Award Committee. There's only 4 of those that got handed out last week, so congrats to Antonio and all of his accomplishments on the field up in Colby, North Carolina, in a big Furman 28-6 victory.
Yeah, which we're going to talk much more about after the break here in just a moment. But it continues to be a great weekend, a great fall season for sports here on Furman's campus, and you know, it's just been 2 years ago that Furman won every fall SoCon championship with the exception of football.
Yep, 5 of them.
And now you've got a similar situation where we've already got cross country who's won the thing, and the other programs are fighting for them now, and now football is in the mix as well. It just really changes the complexion of everything when the football program is doing well.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just your best program there. You want that's your flagship program. So if they're going well, everything else just seems to follow right along.
Yep. What do we have for trivia today before we get to the first break?
Trivia question. Let's see here. The Dodgers and Astros, they set a new World Series record for home runs in a total World Series of 22. Which World Series held the previous mark, and how many?
Okay. I got to guess. I'll stew on that for a minute. I mean, just off the top of my head, there's one series that jumps to mind, but we'll kind of wait and see what happens there and see how close I am. What year, what series, and how many home runs was the record holder until this one, which is now 22 through 5 games.
Through 5 games.
And counting. All right, there's your trivia question. Leave your answers in the comment sections of any of the platforms that you happen to be tuning us in on, or you can always just tweet them to @DanScottShow. Show is brought to you each and every day by our friends at the Atlanta Bread Company, located in Cherrydale Plaza, just down the road from campus. Been some very, very cold mornings here of late, and those are the days that you start thinking around lunchtime or even dinner as we get a little deeper into this fall heading towards winter when it's going to be cold all the time. Man, wouldn't some hot soup or maybe some chili or a hot sandwich taste good for lunch? And that's when their business really takes off. It's good year-round, but having that hot food available, man, join the crowd. Find out why. Go check out the Atlanta Bread Company today. You'll also find out about their great service, their wonderful people. And when you see Jeff Massey, the owner, please thank him for what they do as far as supporting this program. You'll hear more about him in this commercial break. We will step aside and come back and get into a lot of Furman stuff, including your preview of the Bon Secours St. Francis Furman flashback that will air in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
You'll get it almost 2 full weeks ahead of time when we come back right after this. Stay with us.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget the gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today.
Hey Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show. All right, welcome back. We are hanging out live here on a Tuesday, kind of getting caught up, a little bit of a hybrid mashup of yesterday's show, what should have been yesterday's show, and today's, as we recover from if you have to recover from a day off, was it a day off?
Something's going on, yeah.
It's like, you go on vacation and you have to take 2 or 3 days after vacation to recover from vacation. Yeah. How much rest and relaxation?
Sounds a little bit too hectic for me.
Did you actually get?
Yeah.
In any event, as we do normally on Mondays following the weekend, we give you the opportunity to get the first listen to the Bon Secours St. Francis Furman flashback that will air in the pregame in 2 weeks as we get set for the regular season home finale against the Citadel here at Paladin Stadium on November the 11th. The highlight package from the win over Western Carolina. Take a listen. So Western trying another 4th down conversion on this drive. Snap, handoff, Newsom. We hit him. I don't think he got there, or did he, with the second push?
I don't think he got there.
I don't think he did.
Western was running that. Mark Spear was running down the sideline, trying to call timeout. The officials didn't see it. We stopped him, and yeah, he's good and short.
Yeah, he did not make the 10-yard line, and that will be Furman's ball. Oh, the snap is high and through his hands. Hollingsworth picks it up, and he got the kick out of there left-footed. It hits at the 25 and will roll back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. How about John Croft Hollingsworth turned what looked like a sure disaster into what otherwise would have been a mediocre kick, but that was simply outstanding. Blazejowski drops out of the option, throwing deep. Scott Shumpert makes the catch inside the 20, the 10, the 5, far side pylon, touchdown Paladins.
Great play call from Drew Koenig up top. We came back, faked the read option to the left, faked the option to the right. Shumpert snuck behind the secondary guy, Blazejowski, with a strike, and a huge play for that Paladin touchdown.
Adams to throw. 2 receivers to each side. Pressure coming. And we hit him, and we got him. Back behind the original line of scrimmage, Dylan Van, the first of the white jerseys there, and that will force a punt on the first sack of the game for the Furman defense. And Tyree Adams is down from the 26 after the gain of 4, double wing. Moorhead goes in motion left to right, handed to Dirks, big hole, 35-40. It's a foot race down the near seam, 30, 20, 10, and brought down from behind at the 5. Check it, that was Wilcox, not Dirks. huge run all the way to the 5-yard line. Trey Hardy, the cornerback, saved a touchdown for the moment. Oh, doctor, what a run, and the Paladins are in the red zone, 1st and goal. Now it's Keelan Dirks in the backfield. Wilcox looking for oxygen after that run. Hand it to Dirks, running to his right, spinning off of a tackle, goal line, touchdown.
Great job there by Dirks of never going down and just keeping his feet moving and keeping that forward motion.
1st down, they toss it left side to Newsom. Oh, he fumbles it. He fumbles it, and we pick it up. The Paladins have it back at the 42-yard line. Washington forced it, and Furman gets it right back. 2nd and 7, 4:55 clock running, 3rd quarter, 14-0 Paladins. Western showing pressure off the edge. Handed Dirks, big hole, 40, 30, he is gone. Touchdown, Paladins. Holy Toledo. The Red Sea parted, and Keelan Dirks split the defense, and he was gone. 2nd and 10, play action. Smith looking, going deep down the far seam, and it's intercepted. Nice catch by Curse over the shoulder inside the 5-yard line, and he'll return it over on the far sideline, back across the 10 to the 12. Back to either side. Handoff, they give it to
Great job.
Holloway instead, and we stop him short again. And the Paladins will take it over on downs. Raynard Ellis steps in and makes a big hit. And Furman, for the 2nd time in the game, stops them on 4th and short. As we hand it to Wilcox running left, big hole, breaks contain, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Holy Toledo, again Dwight Covington, it's 27-0.
Just a great job there. Wilcox, again, much like Dirks earlier, not touched at any point in that run off the left guard, left tackle, Godwin Bush over there. And good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good night.
Now there's your radio highlight tour through the Western Carolina game, a game played in a constant rain, a game that Furman only attempted 5 passes, only completed 2 the entire day, and yet run for a season-high 363 yards and basically just beat up on Western Carolina on the road. First win over a ranked opponent since 2013, and finally starting to get a little recognition, justified recognition from the voters in the polls.
Absolutely.
It was a miserable day weather-wise, but it was a great day.
Oh, it sure was, Dan. I mean, the middle of the field was just soaked with rain. It was almost like a little mini lake out in the middle of the field there, but the Paladins just came out and they essentially brought their force and they stuck it down the Catamounts' throat all day long. Even when the Catamounts knew we were running the football, they just could not stop it. Our O-line played fantastic. They really opened up a lot of gaps on that front line. I thought, too, that on the defensive side of the ball, our cornerbacks played extremely well. Not only did they get that interception, they had a few swatted passes, and just the way they're attacking the football and the aggressiveness and the confidence they showed in that game was just phenomenal. I think it was by far their best game on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and talking with Clay Hendricks during his show, I think it was during one of the commercial breaks, or he may have actually said it on the show. I think he did, in fact, on Sunday, said that the one of the touchdown runs, it might have been the Wilcox run that we heard there late, and this goes again to just continuing to work and coach and the players working on correcting things, was an alignment that in the Mercer game, Mercer gave us trouble with, and Western Carolina did the same thing, and this time they recognized it. They hit what they were supposed to hit with the blocks, and it sprung Wilcox open for that big touchdown run.
I think they blitzed on that play too, Dan, so they were able to just once they got past that first line of defense, he was just off and running.
So the Paladins now have won 6 in a row, 6-3 on the season, and as we keep our running tally, just to show you, just in two simple categories, points scored and rushing yardage, the improvement this season compared to the previous 4 complete years. Now through 9 games, Furman has scored 310 points, which is more than any of the previous seasons, except for 2013. They're 8 points shy there. But that was a 14-game season, 2 playoff games. So that's 5 more games, and we are at 310 points, only 8 behind. But now, and this has been the key for this offense this year, we have rushed for more yardage than any of those seasons, including 2013. So in 5 fewer games going all the way back to the last playoff year, Furman with 2,187 rushing yards now, that is 117 more than we had in 14 games back in 2013. So you can see as this graphic continues to grow week by week how impressive this offense has been. And the thing that I was joking with somebody the other day and yesterday, as a matter of fact, actually I take that back, it was this morning at our men's prayer breakfast. I said this coaching staff came in with a team that was much more populated in the preseason with suspects than prospects.
Oh, yes.
And what I meant by that was not a throw-off on the kids, but there were so many unknown factors. So many young guys, defensively especially, had never played a down. An offensive line that had to be rebuilt around 2 returning seniors. And so many question marks. And to see this coaching staff do this with this team, and in a situation like Saturday where you only throw 5 times. It's remarkable. It really is. And to have a front row seat for this has been really fun.
Oh, it's been by far the most impressive season I've seen in a long time here in Paladin Stadium and on the away games. Just unbelievable stuff that the coaches have done this year, and it's got to keep it rolling, Dan. Obviously, we're 2 more games to go in the regular season. Hopefully, we can play more than 2.
Yeah, and as Scott Keeler points out, you held a team that averages 39 points a game to 6. And Tyree Adams went out. There was weather, as he says. Whatever you want to attach to that, that's fine. But it's still, using his word, an impressive task.
Absolutely. I mean, 6 points is not a lot. They only scored that against our second-team defense with a minute and 45 seconds to go in the game. So it's going to show that we really forced our will on both sides of the ball, and especially up front, too, I think. We really were able to get after the quarterback and control line of scrimmage on offense.
So what that has done, it's finally gotten the full attention, I suppose, of the voters in the FCS stats poll, because the Paladins jump into the poll after garnering just a few votes. I think 33 votes last week.
I believe so.
Now they are number 23.
Yep.
And still haven't gotten quite the love in the coaches poll yet. Still on the outside looking in, and ironically still trailing Western Carolina and I believe the Citadel in points or votes or however they do it in the others receiving votes category, which is kind of mind-boggling. Haven't played the Citadel yet, of course, but you look at the trajectory of the 2 teams, and especially after just beating Western Carolina, a ranked team on the road, how are you not getting more votes, more points? That's people who are not paying attention.
Yes, and trying to build up their own conferences and put other conferences down too. So, but I think we're well deserving of being in the top 25 in both polls. Now, have you seen these other polls too that Furman is ranked as high as 10th in some of these other composite polls by the computers and other things? In the Massey ratings, we're ranked 16th, and we're ranked as high as 10th in 3 other polls in the computer polls too. So plenty of room to grow, and we're not being shut out in the polls that really matter.
Yeah, the Massey ratings take into account everything, all the other polls, and do the composite. What else is interesting is to look at the Sagarin ratings. Jeff Sagarin has been doing this for a long time, taking in all kinds of factors, including strength of schedule and everything else. And he doesn't separate FCS and FBS teams. They're all in the same poll. But Furman, if you look just inside the Southern Conference, is in the latest Sagarin rankings through the games of this past weekend, is the highest-ranked Southern Conference team, coming in at number 114. Samford is the second highest SoCon team at 126, Wofford 127, then Mercer and Western Carolina 133 and 151 respectively. Those are the top 5: Citadel, Chattanooga, East Tennessee, and VMI. VMI all the way down at 242 out of 255 teams.
At least they're not last.
That he ranks. Yeah, at least they're not last. But it's just intriguing to see what the Sagarin ratings have to say. And right now they've got Furman as the top-rated team in the Southern Conference. And you talk to Clay about it. Despite losing head-to-head with Wofford, you win these last 2 games. You're going to claim a share of the Southern Conference title. If Wofford doesn't lose, they'll get the automatic bid because of the tiebreaker. But there is no conference delineation between the 2 teams. In other words, both will be looked at equally as conference champions.
You're going to get a ring.
So with that in mind, you keep winning. You're going to get where you want to go. You're going to get a seat at the table. And, maybe Wofford stumbles at Chattanooga with Chattanooga like Samford did this past weekend.
I think it's possible for sure, Dan. It sounds like their quarterback's trying to figuring some things out, and defensively as well.
But defensively, that's a talented football team.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, Chattanooga. They've had some major troubles offensively, and, of course, in the game we played going back 3 weeks, I guess, or 2 weeks, they went to the true freshman, pulled the red shirt off of him, and the game against Furman was his debut. Well, obviously he played well against us.
Oh, yes.
And continued to play well. Maybe defensively now with the offense starting to produce, they're not on the field as much. I mean, all these factors go into play here.
Some guys back that were suspended or possibly injured.
So maybe they've got something in store for Wofford. You keep your fingers crossed. And
you'd hope so.
And hope. All you can do if you're Furman is just play the next team in front of you, and that's the Citadel.
Keep your head down and get a W.
Do what you do. All right, so that's a pretty detailed wrap on what's going on with Furman coming out of the final week before the bye, and Coach telling us, in fact, on Sunday that they'll probably this week only practice 3 times or get them a chance to heal physically, to get caught up academically. But during those 3 practices, he said, probably do a little prep work on both the Citadel and Samford. And then, of course, game week next week will all be focusing on the Citadel.
2 very different offenses are going to face in the Citadel and Samford. One's going to be the triple option attack, and the other's going to be a spread offense from a shotgun, most likely. So going to be a tall task for the Paladins to be able to stop both of those vastly different offenses.
Well, and one way to stop them is not let them have the ball.
You got that right. Just pound it down their throats.
Exactly. We'll see how all that shakes out, and we'll talk more about it as the week goes on. We'll step out for a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll get into Forest 3 things, which will include more college football and the FBS polls and the committee poll that is on the way for the first time. Who will be the top 4? Well, we'll find out on the other side. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Traveler's Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at thecafeatwilliamshardware.com.
So you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR cell phone repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
10:30 straight up as we welcome you back to the program here on a Tuesday. Dan Scott and Forrest Stulting overlooking beautiful Paris Mountain on another gorgeous day here in the
cloud in the
upstate.
sky up there, Dan.
Yeah, it is
big and blue. I like it.
Wonderful. A word about Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville, the Greenville Steakhouse. You know, the original is in Charleston. They've brought the brand here, and it has just absolutely taken off. Allen Brothers Prime Steak, so you know you're getting the best quality cut of meat. The rest of the menu is phenomenal. They have a ton of meeting space for your Christmas party coming up, any of your corporate events, those things, and a patio when the weather is good to enjoy the atmosphere outside as well. Open 7 nights a week for dinner, also open for brunch on Sundays. Live music every time that they're open. Find out why they have become the Greenville Steakhouse. That's Hall's Chop House, located in downtown Greenville. All right, let's get to Force 3 things, see what we've got today, and I'm guessing we're going to start with some more college football.
Oh, yes, sir. To go back and look at our picks from last week, the first game was Ohio State and Penn State, and that one was a barn burner, to say the least. Ohio State was down, I believe, 21-3 at one point. Was able to come back and beat the Nittany Lions 39-38. And the Buckeyes held Penn State to only 91 yards rushing, which has been a problem for the Buckeyes ever since that game in Iowa. So they handled Penn State fairly easily, I'd say. And then I've got that game right, and Dan, you picked Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So 1-0 right there for me, 0-1 for you. Game number 2, NC State and Notre Dame. And this game was more of a blowout than I thought it would be. 35-14 Notre Dame. Just not much on the ground for NC State. Only had 50 yards rushing for the Wolfpack, and Notre Dame really did the opposite, 318 yards on the ground for the Irish.
Mm-hmm.
We both picked Notre Dame in that game. Are you surprised by any of these scores so far?
You know, I kind of thought that game would be a little closer. Obviously, I picked Notre Dame to win it as bad as I hated to, but I thought it would be a little bit closer. And you know, we'll talk about this later on, especially more later in the week. But you know, how does that play into the North Carolina State Clemson game?
Yeah,
which is coming up this weekend. You know, one thing it did that I think really benefits Clemson is they had that game. You know, they always announce the TV times in the major conferences 2 weeks ahead of time, but they have the option to put a 6-day hold on games. And they had put a 6-day hold on the North Carolina State and Clemson game. Had North Carolina State won that game with Clemson beating Georgia Tech, that game would have been the 7 or 8 o'clock game.
Oh yeah, primetime
in Raleigh.
ABC.
It's homecoming.
Oh wow!
So I mean that place. I mean it's going to be a great atmosphere anyway. But you know that place at night. Well, what that did, that moved the kickoff now to 3:30. And I think that takes a little bit of the luster off of that game from a North Carolina State standpoint.
And probably some of the pressure as well.
Yeah, well, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. I think they wanted.
Sure.
I think they wanted that. You know that national TV, that primetime exposure, all of that. And I mean, they're still going to be getting the national TV, but not in primetime. You know, and Clemson has played so many of these night games in primetime that I don't think it really would have phased them at all. But I think this 3:30 helps Clemson going in, and that is basically now, unless Clemson were to somehow stumble against Florida State later.
I don't see that happening.
This is the game that will decide who goes on to represent the Atlantic Division in the ACC championship game. So a lot at stake. That did not hurt NC State as far as the ACC goes, but they did come out of there with their tail between their legs.
Oh, they sure did, damn. They sure did. Game number 3, Oklahoma State held off West Virginia 50-39. And another theme here, too, Dan, is that the Mountaineers are only able to rush for 62 yards on the ground. And so it sounds to me like if you can't run the ball, you can have a hard time getting the victory.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's led to Dana Holgerson's resurgence as the head coach at West Virginia over the last couple of seasons is their ability to run the football. And the other theme, you recall, I think it was the Texas Tech game, Mountaineers falling behind significantly. That time they came back to win. They were down big in this, 30-10, I think, at one point, and got back to 30-24 or 38-31 or something like that, but just couldn't get any closer. So, I mean, you dig yourself.
Never had the lead in that game.
Yeah, dig yourself enough of a hole, and you just can't get out of it. So I lost that one.
Yep.
So after 3 games, I'm 1-2.
For 3 games, I'm 3-0.
Okay.
But how the tables will turn
That's
later.
Right. Beginning right now, as a matter of fact.
Game number 4, Iowa State continues to play a spoiler. They beat TCU 14-7. And I was just shocked that TCU only put up 7 points with that high-powered offense of Kenny Hill and Darius Anderson. And Kenny Hill he threw 2 interceptions, and they lost a fumble as well. So 3 turnovers really killed the Horned Frogs in this one. They deflated the football with all their horns.
Yeah, and you say Iowa State's playing spoiler. I think it's more of a Cinderella season right now because they're in, and I hate using that term, but it's what it is.
Yep.
They are in line to play for the conference championship
somehow, some way,
and coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To do it, it's been a phenomenal story, and I got that one right.
You did. My first.
I picked a couple of big upsets this week.
You did. Game number 5, UGA in Florida. Really no surprise here. The Bulldogs dominated the Gators 42-7, and this subsequently resulted in the firing of McElwain, their head coach. Not surprised by that at all. Just the Gators had 66 yards of offense on the passing game and only 183 on the ground, so not much. And they're unable to stop Georgia, 292 yards on the ground. Sonny Michel rushed for 137. Yeah. Nick Chubb, 77 yards. So there's too much for that weak Gator defense.
I saw a report over the weekend as all the McElwain news was coming out that Steve Spurrier reached out to him on I think I saw 2 occasions to offer to help him with his offense or just offering his services to McElwain if he would like to talk to him or would like his help with anything, and McElwain turned him down.
Wow. Both
times. Now, how accurate is that report?
Yeah.
But if it's true, when the guy who rebuilt the relevance of Florida football,
Heisman Trophy winner,
yeah, all of that, player, and then of course what he did there as a coach before going to the NFL for a couple of ill-fated years, that's a pretty shocking revelation that McElwain would say, no, I don't want your help.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, Dan. Why would you not want someone who's had a plethora of success at the college football ranks from multiple schools? So I just don't get that whatsoever. I think that kind of pushed him over the edge essentially by not getting his help, and then this big loss to arch rival Georgia.
Yeah, and as Scott Keeler points out in our Facebook comments section, it's not like he's just the greatest coach Florida's ever had. He's also an official advisor to the program as it is. So he's kind of there in an official capacity anyway, and McElwain didn't want his help if the reports are accurate. So go figure. All right, so we both got that.
Yep.
We both picked Georgia.
So we're both 4-1. No, I'm 4-1 right now, and you are 3-2 in the first 5 games.
Okay.
Game number 6, Clemson beat Georgia Tech 24-10, and the Yellow Jacks were able to run the ball a little bit, 198 yards on the ground, but they just could do nothing in the air, only 32 yards, and they could not stop the powerful Clemson offense. 2 of 7 in the air, 221 on the ground. So that was a big difference in this game.
I saw another stat this week that in 5 games as the defensive coordinator for Clemson against, I think it was 5 games, against Georgia Tech, Kevin Steele's defense only had something like 22 tackles for loss, negative plays against Georgia Tech. In 6 seasons, Brent Venables' defenses against Georgia Tech has had something like 54 or 55 tackles for loss, created negative plays on defense against Georgia Tech's running game.
Wow. I mean, that is the key to stopping them is you got to stop them from running the football, especially up the middle with the triple option offense. You got to cut one of the tridents off, one of the heads, and if you can cut the middle off, that's really the key to preventing them from having some big plays down the field. Game number 7, we have a pretty big upset. Arizona beat Washington State 58-37, Dan. And here's a daunting stat for you. Washington State passed for 509 yards, but only scored 37 points. But the difference is he threw 4 interceptions. That's where the fault comes.
Well, turnovers will kill you. Ask Samford against Chattanooga.
Yeah.
You know, they get beat 23-21. They turned it over 7 times this week. So turnovers will be the death of you as a player or a coach. I just thought they might be walking into a little bit of a trap there. Arizona obviously doesn't play a whole lot of defense, but they can score. And if I'm not mistaken now, kind of quietly, isn't Arizona sitting at 6-2 after that win?
6-2, 4-1 in the conference.
Yeah.
And they held the Cougars to only 44 yards on the ground, Dan.
Yeah,
so they gave up.
Mike Leach doesn't run the ball a whole lot anyway.
That is true. They got only 17 attempts, so that makes sense. Game number 8. I was a little bit of a bold pick here by myself, but came up short.
Well, by the way, I got Arizona.
Yeah, I got that wrong. Yep.
Okay.
And then Oklahoma beat Texas Tech 49-27. I picked the Red Raiders, and you picked Oklahoma.
I picked Oklahoma.
And this was a game till about halftime or so. Then in the third quarter, the Sooners really separated themselves from the Raiders, 21 points to only 7 for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So big win for them. Baker Mayfield, 281 yards in the air, 4 TDs, and just unbelievable right here, 336 yards of rushing for the Sooners on the ground. So they just all out dominated the Raiders on their defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
so
it was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
So overall, you were 6-2. I was 5-3. So pretty good week for.
But once again, good triumphs over evil.
Exactly. Some other notable scores here. Northwestern beat Michigan State 39-31 in triple overtime. Miami held off UNC, a really bad UNC team, 24-19. Wake Forest beat Louisville 42-32. So the Cardinals just continue to fall. And probably the biggest surprise of the weekend, Boston College beat Florida State 35-3.
Yeah, that was a Thursday night game, wasn't it? It was a
Friday
night game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just embarrassed them.
Yep.
And we came into this season thinking Steve Adazio's probably on his way out at Boston College, and now all of a sudden, they've got. I mean, they beat Louisville on the road, which that win. Okay.
Yeah.
But now to pummel Florida State, even though Florida State is having the kind of season it's having, but I think this is starting to show that the Seminoles are having some issues beyond just a loss of DeAndre Francois, because I think the stat I saw in their last 25 games now they're just 14-11.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a bit of a tough road for Jimbo Fisher and company, and this year it's kind of a lost season.
Yeah, maybe he's losing the locker room a little bit, or just players aren't fighting as hard.
Yeah, I think
something's gone awry in that locker room with the players, because they have at least double or triple the amount of 5 stars on that roster than Boston College does. So
I think we'll find out exactly what Jimbo's medal is next season.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I mean, they need to finish strong, as strong as they can this year. But I think next season, is this a downward trend that will continue, or is it maybe a 2-year blip on the screen? We'll find out. But yeah, 35-3, even with their quarterback issues, that was surprising.
Yep, no doubt. Some college football rankings for you. The coaches AT Top 25 poll. Excuse me. Alabama number 1 with 59 of the 61 votes. Georgia got 2 votes. Ohio State number 3. Wisconsin number 4. They haven't played anybody. That's a pretty high ranking for them. I think they will get walloped in the Big Ten championship game. whoever they play. Notre Dame number 5, Clemson 6, Penn State 7. After their loss, they dropped 5 spots. TCU at 10, they dropped 6 spots. NC State, they dropped 6 spots at number 20. The Huskies of Washington State, the Cougars, to 25. That's 10 spots down. Michigan State dropped 8 spots to 24. And some big risers this week was Iowa State to number 14. That's 11 spots up. And then Notre Dame 4 spots. But by far the biggest jumper was the Cyclones of Iowa State.
Yeah. You talk about Wisconsin not playing anybody. I mean, Ohio State, people just they continue to be in love with this team. And that's a nice win over Penn State. But if you look at their schedule, they don't have a whole lot of other victories that you would call overly impressive.
Oh, no. I mean,
right now.
UNLV, Rutgers, Maryland, Nebraska, none of those teams really strike fear into my head. So.
No. The coaches poll, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Wisconsin, the top 4. The same Clemson 5th in Miami, Florida, Penn State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State. By the way, Arizona jumps into both polls at 23 and the AP 25. So Rich Rod, for the moment, back in the polls. The committee poll, the one that matters, that eventually will decide the 4 teams that will make the playoffs. I believe the first one comes out this evening. Is that correct?
I think so.
Having that being the case, Alabama, Georgia, I think are pretty solid locks to be 1 and 2.
Oh, yes.
Then it's going to be interesting to see who get the other 2 spots. I think that the 2 spots are going to come from 3 teams: Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Clemson.
Yep. It all depends on what the committee thinks is more impressive wins, and which one loss is going to hurt that team the most. I think, and I think.
See, and I think the 3 wins over the top 15 teams in September, bouncing back with a dominant win over Georgia Tech.
But as you said, against the win against Louisville, it's not that impressive anymore.
No, but at the time they were a ranked team. They were a top 15 team, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But still, when you look at their strength of schedule, look at everything else, I think they belong in there. Whether they get in there this first week, we'll see. But I think Alabama, Georgia are pretty dead solid locks at 1 and 2.
I think Clemson will be there at the end of the year, but I think they have to win the ACC to get in that top 4. I think they'll leapfrog either Notre Dame or Ohio State to get in that top 4 at the end of the year. But I think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Notre Dame in the top 4 for me.
With Clemson
tonight.
at 5?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Find out shortly. You want to take a break?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll come back and get to things 2 and 3, which will include some baseball on the other side. This is the Dan Scott Show, the Tuesday edition, rolling down the home stretch. We'll return in just a moment.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Traveler's Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
All right, we're back with the final segment. About 10 minutes remaining in today's program. Good to be back after taking a day off yesterday. Dan Scott, Forrest Stulting, and continuing with Forrest Three Things. Before we do that, though, let me take just a moment to talk to you about the Walk a Mile project. If you haven't heard us talk about them yet, it's a nonprofit organization from a Christian church perspective that does mission work. They spend a lot of time, in fact, in Guatemala, building houses for the homeless, finding clean drinking water sources, and all of the things that you find that are just plaguing third world countries right now. But the other thing they do is they equip other individuals or churches or organizations to go do the same thing, show you how to do it, train you, and get you ready to go. So if you want to find out more about what they do, how they do it, and either make a donation or find out how to get your organization involved, you see the website there on the screen, thewamproject.org, thewamproject.org. That's the Walk a Mile Project. It is anchored out of Anderson, and you can find out more there at that website. All right, let's talk some baseball.
Let's do it. Game 5 was just incredible. You had 3 instances where one of the teams came back from 3 runs or more, and so that was just incredible, especially against 2 former Cy Young Awards winners in Dallas Keuchel and Clayton Kershaw. Just some incredible offense that night, especially in the 9th inning when the Dodgers came back from down 3 runs, just working against the Astros pitching staff throughout the entire game. And between games 2 and games 5, I think this is some of the greatest games that the World Series has ever seen, Dan. What other games stand out to you?
What, in other World Series?
Compared to, yeah. Obviously, you have Don Larson's Game 5, 1956. That's up there.
Yeah, I mean, you depends on what kind of game you're talking about. The one that I'll always go back to will be Game 6 of the 1975 World Series between the Reds and the Red Sox. Reds are up 3-2 in the series. Mm-hmm. It's in Fenway Park. The Reds have a 3-run lead in the 8th inning and have their closer on the mound in the 8th inning, by the way.
Yep.
Check that. Raleigh Eastwick. And Bernie Carbo, a former Red, comes up, hits a pinch hit 3-run home run to tie the game and send it to extra innings. The Red Sox look like they're going to win it with a runner at third and I think 1 out in the 10th and a fly ball to George Foster right along the line in left field up, you know how it is pressed up right there against that wall because there's no foul territory. And Foster did not have the greatest arm in the world. Denny Doyle was the runner at third. He thought Don Zimmer was saying go, go. Don Zimmer was saying no, no, don't go. Foster throws him out at the plate. Go to I think it was the 11th inning, and Joe Morgan hit a ball that looked like it was going to be a home run to give the Reds the lead, and Dwight Evans made a circus catch at that real short fence out in right field to rob him of a home run, send it to the 12th, and then Carlton Fisk hit the famous home run, waving it fair. That game ebbs and flows is a hard one to match, especially the way it ended. This game 5 kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Obviously you had more gut punches, more 3-run home runs, and that type of thing. But everything that happened in that 75 Game 6 happened from the 8th inning on, and so there was a build up in this one. I love this series because if you're a baseball fan, you've gotten everything. You've gotten great pitching, you've gotten bad pitching, you've gotten great offense, you've gotten bad offense. You've got the whole thing that makes baseball what it is. Yep.
I think 2 things we stick out in this one is the amount of home runs they've hit. As I mentioned, there's been 22 in the World Series, but 19 of the Astros' 28 runs have come via the home run, and 16 of the 30 runs for the Dodgers have come via the home run. That's been the story of the series, and if either team can just stop one of these teams from hitting the long ball, I think they'll have the advantage quickly, but just the pitching has been extremely suspect, And the MVP for me so far has been Alex Bregman, not only offensively but defensively. He's played a superb third base, just making some spectacular throws and some spectacular diving stops to his left, especially to his left. But I think he's really kept them in the ballgame. He's got an RBI, I think, in every World Series game so far. So there's incredible stuff by him. But then there's been some speculation about the baseball. It's a little slicker than normal. Does that have any
I didn't really see Clayton Kershaw have any difficulty throwing his breaking ball.
That's fair.
And if the ball, that's going to be the thing. If the ball is slick, pitchers are going to have more difficulty with their breaking stuff.
Look at Darvish, so he couldn't get his slider was extremely flat.
Maybe it was anything can happen.
Yeah.
And they're using obviously you use new baseballs every game. You don't recycle baseballs. Are they stitched differently? Are they not getting rubbed up prior to the game and with the Mississippi mud or whatever they use to rub them up? I don't know. I think that's something that people like to jump on and talk about when they see a lot of runs being scored. But then you look at the low-scoring games we have. So we have different baseballs in different games.
Well, I mean, to me, there haven't been that many low-scoring games. You've had, except for the very first game, 3-1. It's been 7-6, 5-3, 6-2, and 13-12. So I mean.
Well, 5-3 in a game is not a ton of runs.
No, that's not. But at the same time, when you have 3 games where the team scores at least 6, or both teams score at least 6 runs, that's, I don't know. But if you look at the 2 pictures of the baseballs, one looks a little more pearly white than the other. I'm not saying it is. I'm just pointing out what other pitchers and players have said so far in the series.
Rub it up. Rub the shine off it. Reach down, get a handful of dirt.
No, I think you're right about that. It's been a topic of hot debate recently.
Yeah, well, whatever the debate has been, it's been a fun World Series.
Oh, no doubt. It's been back and forth and on the edge of my seat the entire time. There's no doubt about that.
Question now is this: you got Verlander going on full rest tonight, and he has just been ridiculous in this postseason. If the Dodgers are able to beat him, if you're Houston, the question then becomes, what do you do in Game 7?
Yeah.
Do you bring back Dallas Keuchel and start him
on
2 days rest?
Can't do that.
I mean, you can. I mean, they won't. They pulled him, and I thought Joe Buck made a good point when they did pull him out of the game the other day when it was 4-0, and saying that you're kind of casting an eye on the future to a Game 7 here. So he's struggling now. You get him out, you leave something in the tank, and if there's a Game 7, you've got, whether it's starting him or whether it's bringing him on in relief. The question is, where do you think he'll be the most effective, and when do you need him to be the most effective? On the road, do you need to have him there to get off to a good start? Do you risk starting, say, Lance McCullers and then bringing Keuchel in behind him? I mean, if you get to a Game 7, that's going to be a pretty intriguing decision for A.J. Hinch.
I think you ride McCullers as long as you can. He's been really good throughout the entire playoffs. I think he's going to be your go-to guy in Game 7.
But when do you want him? Do you want him early, or do you want him in that big breaking ball later in the ball game?
I think you start him right away.
So
yeah.
That's why A.J. Hinch gets paid that money.
You got that.
Of course,
right.
it may be a moot point if Verlander does what he's been doing and just keeps shoving fastballs down the Dodgers' throats.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be a 6-game series.
You got that right. But according to Yasiel Puig, the game's going 7. But thing number 3, man, Deshaun Watson. He's had one of the best rookie seasons ever so far in his young career. Last week against the Seahawks, he completed 19 of 30 passes for 402 yards, 4 TDs, but he did have 3 INTs. But nonetheless, he is really setting the pace for one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time by a quarterback. He has the most passing TDs through his first 7 career NFL games with 19, and he has the most 3 touchdown passing games with 4 in his rookie season. So just unbelievable stuff from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I remember people saying when he was at Clemson, and it was laughable then.
Yep.
And it's laughable now. He won't be able to read NFL defenses. He doesn't throw the deep ball well enough.
He had one pass that was on the money. That was 58 yards. I mean, it was it was virtually all was in the air. We threw it down to the 5-yard line. The guy caught it and fell into the end zone, and it was just spectacular. So, I mean, he's proven his worth so far.
Kid's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal the minute he stepped onto Clemson's campus, and he's been phenomenal from the minute they put him into the lineup against my Bengals on that Thursday night in Week 2 as a starting quarterback, and he's just taken off since.
Yep.
It's been excellent. All right, let's get to the trivia.
On this date?
Okay, you got a couple of those?
Yeah, I got a couple. In 2001, Mr. November is born. Derek Jeter hits a home run in the 10th inning as the clock strikes midnight on October 31st to beat Arizona in Game 4. And it's the first time since 1929 a team ties in the 9th and goes on to win in extra innings. So pretty cool stuff there by the Yankees. In 2010, for the first time since 1947, the Giants start an all-rookie battery with Buster Posey behind the dish, Ed Madison, Bumgarner on the bump. And in 2011, one of the greatest managers of all time retires, Tony La Russa. Hangs the cleats up for a final time.
Yeah. All right, now, trivia.
I
thought the answer to the go ahead and give us the question again.
The Dodgers and Astros in this World Series have set a new record for home runs in a World Series total. They have 22 so far in 5 games. Which World Series held the previous mark?
I thought that, and I haven't seen a complete list, so I don't know where it ranks, but just knowing how the 1960 World Series went and the number of runs that were scored in that one, I don't know if they had a shiny baseball problem then or not, but if you look, the Yankees won 3 games by blowouts, and the Pirates won 4 low-scoring games until the final game, which they won 12-11 or whatever it was with Mazeroski's home run. But I thought maybe that series would be in there, but when I was looking up something else at Google, I actually saw the answer. So
2002, Anaheim Angels versus San Francisco Giants. 21 total home runs. Troy Glaus hit 7 of them in that World Series. So pretty impressive stuff by him. And I think Jose Altuve has 7 right now. So
in the World Series?
In the World Series, yeah. He has a chance to beat that mark.
Altuve has 7 home
No, excuse
run.
me, in the playoffs. Excuse me.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I didn't recall.
He's
Glaus
he's got 3 in the World Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scared me there for a minute. I thought I'd missed something. All right, that'll do it for us. Tomorrow, Dave Glenn will be with us. We'll take a look at all things ACC and continue kind of marching on this Southern Conference beat. Also, as of tomorrow, we are 10 days away from the opening of basketball season. November 10th is the opener against Bob Jones for Furman, and Furman was ranked.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier.
17th in the preseason mid-major poll. And they're inside the top 100.
Yeah, 93rd by CBS Sports.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Extremely high.
Which is pretty cool to have people talking about Furman basketball, and we'll be doing it as well. Thank you for your attention. We will see you again tomorrow. Until then, for Forrest, I'm Dan saying God bless you, and so long, everybody.